Hi everyone. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. And what we're going to talk about is not being sorry and the importance of it at certain aspects or at certain times. So, on the surface, you would think, you're a good guy. Maybe you do something by accident. And, in general, whether you're at work or it's your mother or you're out in public, sometimes you should be sorry. Say you accidentally slam a door on somebody walking into the store and like you look back, it's an old gentleman. Yeah, open the door and say, "Hey, I'm sorry I didn't get you," and open the door for him. Or, your mother, say like you were supposed to come over for dinner and you missed it. Tell your mother sorry. But what I am trying to, oh, you can really see the sun behind me today. What I'm trying to really allude to is when sorry is really just a word used to weaken you in a couple ways and to demasculinate you. One, if you're always in public and you're in somebody's way and you say sorry. When I was younger, I would kind of like I was sorry, like I was like I'd step into somebody, I'd be like, oh sorry. And sometimes people do that to me in public and I say it back to them to be friendly. But I don't normally initiate it unless like I literally step on somebody's foot. But if I'm just walking and like, you kind of bump into somebody, you just say, "Oh, hey," you know. But so I think there's an issue of when you say sorry too much, especially to people you don't know or people at the gym. I'm on my way to the gym right now. I got to drink my pre-workout and I could tell you, ain't no very few people say sorry to me in the gym, man. You know, they could be little teenagers, a quarter my size. You take my machine and they don't say they're sorry. They don't care. So, I promise you, there is this whole motto out there about don't be sorry. Don't be afraid to take up your space and be accountable for it without having to feel sorry. That's a mistake. But I think what I really wanted to focus on in this video here today is about not being sorry to women and women who you are specifically dating. So let me know down in the comments below how often, unless you're lucky and like you've met the woman of your dreams, let me know how often a woman you're dating has done something that's made you fully feel uncomfortable. And she'll just flat out say, like, "I'm sorry," and she'll mean it. I could tell you it doesn't happen a lot. And why it doesn't happen a lot is because women don't have to be accountable. There's no reason for them to be accountable because even if they give you a chance, so if you meet a nice girl and she gives you a chance, she's beautiful, she doesn't have to be sorry if she does something wrong because she can replace you with somebody who's equivalent or fairly equivalent in the same ballpark. Maybe one guy has a lot more money, but maybe one guy has better abs, or the other guy's taller, or the other guy has a better hairline. It could be all of these things. So don't just think because you make money that you can't get replaced. You can get replaced by somebody who's more jacked and more social than you, or has a better social circle, or is more fit than you, or who's better looking. We all we all can be replaced. And if you're watching this video, you can be replaced. There's very few men who I would say can't be replaced. And I don't like to say that because I know as myself who I am and how I feel about myself. I don't want to be like, oh, like she can just replace me because deep down I know she can't replace me individually, but she can just fill in the gap. So that gives her reason to have leverage in the relationship and not have to be sorry unless you find a good one, I would say the biggest green flag you could find is a woman who doesn't make a lot of mistakes. And when she does, she has no problem being accountable and giving you an apology. Now, as men, one of the signs you know when the relationship is over, and I would categorize this into eggshelling. It's some variation or some part of eggshelling is when you do something and she doesn't like it. So say you say a joke, you know, say you say something not serious, and for whatever reason she doesn't like it, maybe it offends her or whatever. I think normally, you can just say, "Oh, like that was a bad joke." But if it gets to the point where you have to apologize for it, I don't think you should. And and maybe if that was a one-off case, that's maybe you can apologize it. But look at the overall health of the relationship and be honest with yourself. You should not apologize to a woman if she's making complaints about like, "Oh, I'm just not happy." Those are the death words. That's when you know it's over. Or when she starts saying like, "We don't do enough of this," or "How come you're not like that?" or little indicators like that. Some she might not always tell you, "I'm just not happy." It'll come out in other indirect ways. And when there is any friction in the relationship, you saying sorry is not about you being truly sorry for what you said. It's you submitting to her frame and her rules and and doing what she says. And if you do say you're sorry, maybe temporarily she might not even realize she's doing it. Maybe temporarily she'll convince herself, like, okay, like I feel better. But in the long run, it's already over. And to preserve any chance you have in the relationship, maybe you can say, like, I'm sorry you felt this way about it, but I am not sorry for saying a joke. Or, I am not sorry I didn't go to your family's birthday party. I had other things to do. Uh, so if the relationship is healthy and there's not a lot of friction going, I mean, any kind of friction. The friction could be as simple as her testing you way too frequently, like just delayed texting. It's way too frequent. Or, you know there's something she knows there's something you don't like and that you approve of, and she's testing you that she's gonna do it. Right there, you know, it's you're not gonna agree on everything, but when you have a concrete boundary or limit about something, and she doesn't want to fully respect it, and like you give in, you know, compromise looks good on paper, but when you end up compromising, you're losing the lead of the relationship. And it doesn't mean you're a dictator and you are a bad person. It just naturally for some men, it's hard for them to follow into a woman's life and want to join into all these activities. And for some men, maybe that's not hard for them. So they can do it gladly, but why do so many guys get left? The good guys are like, okay, let's go do this with your family. Let's go do this with your sister's kids. And you do all these things for her, and she still finds reasons to complain. And she's still trying to make you apologize for something that really doesn't need an apology. So that is the message. You know, apologize to your mother in most cases. There's times in public where maybe you accidentally bump into an old man you didn't see. Say sorry to him. But you know, when you have a nagging woman and you're not sure, you should be able to tell those signs where just something is not adding up. She's mentioning to you like, we're not doing this, we're not doing that. That's the beginning of the I'm not happy trend, and she's going to be looking for apologies, and do not give them to her. And prepare yourself mentally to move on in the relationship, because no matter how beautiful she is, And, no matter how much you want her, she's already she's already preparing her exit. So at that point on, you should be prepared that she's exiting. So when it happens, you're not left there apologizing over something you didn't do. And you can move forward with dignity, because give her that apology and see how it fixes nothing. And we're going to leave it at that. Drinking my pre-workout. Make sure you guys are staying in the gym, staying lean, lift heavy. Don't fall for this bullshit about lifting light and all this stuff. Don't get injured though. You know, and that's the best we can do. Don't forget to like and subscribe.